Do you tell the parents if you find something in a kid's room while you're cleaning the house? That's an excellent question, and we're going to talk about that today. Hi there, I'm Angela Brown, and this is Ask a House Cleaner. This is a show where you get to ask a house cleaning question, and I get to help you find an answer. Now, today's show is brought to us by mycleaningconnection.com, and on there is a resource section with podcasts. So if you are a do-it-yourselfer and you want tips and tricks on how to clean your house better, there are all different kinds of podcasts to help you do that. And if you're a house cleaning business owner, there are a bunch of tips and strategies on different podcasts in the same resource section. So mycleaningconnection.com in the resource section for podcasts. Okay, on to today's session, which is from a house cleaner. Actually, it's from several house cleaners who have a question. It's kind of a dilemma, and they want to know where to draw the line. So you've been hired as a house cleaner, and the family that's hired you expects that you are going to respect their privacy and that you are going to keep everything that happens inside their house confidential. Where do you draw that line? Do you keep everything in that house to yourself? Or do you tell the parents if you find something unusual in one of the kids' rooms? Now, the question comes from a variety of different concerns because we are human and we have respect for other humans. And if somebody's in danger or somebody's doing something they shouldn't be doing, do we tell the parents? All right, that's kind of a sticky question, and it comes down to what is it that you found? For example, there was a woman who says, I found Halloween wrappers from candy under my kids' beds, and my kids are not allowed to eat sugar. The house cleaner should have brought that up. I don't know. Maybe kids sneaking some candy is not such a bad thing if it's Halloween and it's that time of year when people are passing out candy. Yeah, I get the fact that your family doesn't eat sugar, and that's probably a bad thing. To tattle on them, probably not the housekeeper's job. If you found beer cans in a 13-year-old's closet, that might be something you want to tell the parents. Just let them know, hey, heads up, I saw some open beer cans inside the kid's closet. I know the kid is underage. I just wanted to give you a heads up. Maybe you want to just alert them to the fact that there may be a problem. If you find drugs and needles, again, it's nobody's business, but you may want to let the parents know, hey, I found some drug paraphernalia in your child's bedroom. I just wanted to let you know, just a heads up, just so that there are no surprises, so that the parents do know. There are a lot of parents that are super busy, and they're working around the clock to try to make ends meet and to put food on the kid's table. If the kid is in trouble or the kid is doing something that could potentially harm them, I would let the parents know. If you find some pornographic magazines, I probably wouldn't tell the parents. It's really none of your business. It's kind of a thing that lots of kids go through. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm saying I would not tattle on the kid. If they're in the privacy of their own home and they're not causing any harm, I would let the parents deal with that when they discover that on their own. Other things that you might take into consideration are we have found all different kinds of things that are of a different concern. In one home, in a teenager's room, we found 16 cell phones. And so that might suggest theft. It might suggest trading drugs for phones or whatever, but I don't know any teenagers that have 16 cell phones. And so that kind of raises a red flag of a different sort. Inside that particular child's room, there were also 11 cameras, like regular cameras. So cameras and cell phones, that's kind of a sticky situation. Also in the same child's bedroom, there were 3 fobs to different cars that did not belong to the family. So in that particular scenario, we did bring it to the parents' attention and we said, hey, we just wanted to give you a heads up. It's none of our business, but we did find all these extra things that looks like a mini pawn shop happening in your child's bedroom. And the parents were mortified and come to find out it was in fact theft. But those are things that then you may want to bring to the parents' attention because the parent doesn't know. But if it's just to get the kid in trouble, that's kind of a sticky situation because the parents have to live with the kids. And the parents have hired you and you want to keep coming back. And if the kid hates you because you've breached a level of trust, you might get fired from your job. So you have to weigh and measure every situation. Across the board, number one, it's none of your business. So it's easy to say, I'm not going to get involved, none of your business. But the things that you have to think about is the child underage? Is there some harm going on? Or is there something of a greater magnitude like the theft thing? Because if we just let the parents know, the parents then can make their own decision. We did not call the police. We did not get the authorities involved. This wasn't, again, any of our business. But this we did tell the parents because we wanted the parents to know. So it's a very fine line. And as a mature business owner, you have to make that decision. So do you tell the parents? Weigh it on an individual case-by-case basis. Because there are times when, yes, you need to bring it to the parents' attention. And there are times when it's none of your business. Here's another one of those, it's none of your business. You walk in and you see one of the spouses cheating on the other spouse. Man, that's a weird one, but guess what? It's none of your business. And so in that particular situation, I wouldn't tell anyone. It's something you do not want to get involved in. These are mature adults. They have a choice of telling their spouse, and they can work it out amongst themselves. That is not something you want to get involved in because that has nothing to do with you. And although it may emotionally harm the other person, that is a situation I wouldn't get involved in. So again, if kids are involved, if there's something weird happening, protect the kids, protect the family, protect the parents. And if it's an adult situation like cheating on a spouse, let them work that out amongst themselves. That's my 2 cents for today. All right, until we meet again, leave the world a cleaner place than when you found it.